This movie might be one of the best animated films of all time, and guess what? It's on Netflix, so you can watch it right now. Hey everybody, welcome back to TLTV. My name is Tyler, and this week we're going to be talking about the Disney and Pixar animated film Coco. Before we get into it, this film won the Golden Globe in 2017 for Best Animated Feature Film. And after watching it, they clearly deserved it. The story follows a young boy named Miguel who grew up in a family full of shoemakers. Music was forbidden in his family by his great-grandmother Imelda, who was spurned by a musician and left to raise their daughter Coco by herself. Miguel desperately longs to be a musician, and in his pursuit, he winds up in the land of the dead on Dia de los Muertos, Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead. So if you don't know anything about this movie, now you know that it's about Mexican culture and the Mexican tradition of honoring the members of your family who have passed on the Day of the Dead, or Dia de los Muertos. Just rolls off the tongue. Dia de los Muertos. Probably saying that wrong. I'm sorry. Now, in order to make it back to the land of the living, Miguel must track down one of his relatives who is in the land of the dead so he may secure their blessing. And he's not going home without permission from his family members to pursue his passion of being a musician. Now, obviously, I'm not going to spoil this for you, so I'll leave it at that. But I do want to talk about some certain things that make this movie very special. The visuals in this film are so vast and so detailed and so incredibly beautiful. This movie yearns to be seen on a big screen, and I'm kicking myself that I didn't see it in theaters because it would have been incredible to witness. The detail and the color and the rich world that these filmmakers created is just astonishing. Now, it's very clear why, after having done a little research in preparation for this video, they took inspiration from some of my favorite films. If you've heard of Studio Ghibli, you'll know what I'm talking about. The filmmakers took inspiration directly from Howl's Moving Castle and Spirited Away. Now, Miyazaki is one of the most legendary filmmakers of all time. He has a very unique style, a very unique use of color and ethereal spiritualness, and it's clear to see why they pulled those elements from Miyazaki's work. They also pulled from another movie that I've actually reviewed on this channel just recently, John Wick. Now, you might be asking yourself, wait, the Assassin movie? The one that you claimed perfected the action genre? Yes, one and the same. And you know what they pulled from that movie? The use of crazy colors. I read this in an interview online. The filmmakers basically found movies that had striking, crazy colors and used them in certain ways because they were working primarily at night. And as a storyteller and as a filmmaker, you can use certain elements to help create a mood, i.e. color, or weather, or time of day. But over the course of this film, Miguel is in the land of the dead overnight, so they can't use any natural light, and it's hard to use color in the darkness, and there was no weather because it's the land of the dead. So feeling a little restricted by these parameters, they searched out inspiration from other movies, and John Wick was one of those movies. Now, when I watched this movie, I didn't think of John Wick, but knowing the colors and how they use them in those night sequences in that movie, it does make sense because the colors in this movie are so vibrant. And that's one of the things that these filmmakers wanted to bring out, was the vibrant colors of Dia de los Muertos and really celebrating that culture and bringing it to life. The story is quite moving, and anyone who's ever chased their dreams, preaching to the choir here, can absolutely relate to it. But at the same time, this movie truly shows you the importance of family and remembering them so that they may live on. Now, this movie also tackles some pretty big issues, namely murder. Now, in most Disney movies, you'll see the villain who is triumphed over and sometimes even killed, and you don't see that gore or, the actual killing of the villain. But the murder in this movie was more in your face because it was a jealousy-fueled anger killing, and it shows the kids that there are people in this world who will do anything to get what they want. Like I said, this movie tackles some big issues like familial obligation, playing it safe versus pursuing your passion, and obviously be careful who you trust in this world. I mean, this is a deep, rich story that is embedded in this children's story. Now, for those of you who follow me on Instagram, you might just be thinking to yourself, wait a minute, didn't you just say on IGTV last week that you don't like musicals? And you're right, I don't. But Coco is not a musical. It's a story about music. The music in this film develops organically through the characters and through the necessity of story. It's only in the moments when they have no other means to express themselves do they break out into song. Musicals that I don't necessarily connect with use music in an inorganic way that takes me out of the world. And I love being encapsulated in whatever world that I'm currently watching. This movie is fun, it's heartwarming, it's uplifting, and it really just has one of those truly rich and deep stories that you don't often see in kids' movies. So if you're still leeching off of someone else's Netflix account, thanks mom, then throw on Coco this weekend and let me know what you think. Now, I mentioned before, if you follow me on Instagram, you may have noticed that I started doing TLTV on the go. Now, these reviews are short, uncut reviews of movies that I don't plan on reviewing fully. If you want more TLTV, go ahead and follow me on Instagram and check out my IGTV. And if you haven't noticed, I started doing trailer reviews because I want to talk about the hype of upcoming movies, specifically the DCEU, now rebranded Worlds of DC. The fate of that whole franchise is so up in the air, it worries me so much. So be sure to check out that latest review and let's get a conversation going. That's it for this week. For those of you who've actually seen Coco, let me know what you thought about this movie down in the comments. And as always, keep those spoilers to a minimum. Thanks again for watching. See you next week.